Hello everyone, welcome to Emmy's Bookshelf. Welcome to my goal update, check-in, how's it going, what I'm changing kind of video. I was going to do a quarterly update of like how my goals are doing, and then I realized it's the end of April practically. So clearly timing is off for me. I did not prioritize it at the beginning of April or end of March. I dropped the ball. So we're gonna go into it now. It's like a third of the year is done. What are we gonna do, View? It seems a little ridiculous, but that's okay. Let's get into it. So the first goal that I had, I failed miserably at so far. Well, maybe not miserably. I said I wanted to do the 2 in, 1 out, no, 2 out, 1 in kind of buying system. So I read 2 books I own, then get rid of one, or then I can buy one. I think I follow that actually. I have not tracked it, but I think I've bought like 7, 8 books in this year so far. So that's pretty good. Sorry, got something in my eye. That's pretty good considering I have read a good amount more than that of my own shelves. I think I have. And either way, I've still only bought like less than 10 books, which is huge for me. So I'm pretty happy with that. Part of that goal was though to read 50% of the books I had not read on my shelves. And that's not gonna happen this year. I can tell you that now. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I will not be finishing that many books on my shelves. I am currently, as of right now filming, I think I've read 44 books in like 3 months. And for some people, that's an amazing number. For me, that's really low. So I've had to just kind of reevaluate my goals, kind of, and be like, well, what am I actually wanting to accomplish this year? And honestly, I'm enjoying just relaxing and watching TV and spending time with people, just not so engrossed in books all the time, which is weird as a booktuber to say, but I read a lot, so I feel like a lot of my life has been put in books. And it's nice to have some time that's not solely invested in, I have to finish this book or I'm going to be really in trouble for my goals. That's not healthy. And I don't think I should be reacting that way to reading time, which is how it sometimes feels. Part of my goals were to reread books, and I wanted to reread some old favorites, some books I've saved on my shelves for rereading purposes, and then also reread some fixed books when I was a kid that I loved then. I have done really well with rereading books on my shelves that I have wanted to reread, not limiting myself to reading only new books, but I have not done well with rereading children's books that I enjoyed when I was a kid. So that's something I do want to kind of prioritize going forward, maybe in the next couple months, maybe just have some fun reading some of those younger books that I remember loving. But I feel like done pretty well considering what I have been picking up and the fact that every month I do have a reread that's not an Agatha Christie, because that was a very key part of that reread goal. In terms of Agatha Christie, I don't remember if this was in my goals video or not, but I did want to read them in order, and I have been doing a good job of that so far, but I took a little bit of a break, and I'm starting Death on the Nile instead of continuing with the big 4 currently. I will be going back to that one and continuing on. However, I am kind of taking a little detour just for the sake of, I don't know, reading some favorites that are going to get me a really good Agatha Christie high, because some of those have been a bit lower in my estimation. Another goal that I have done really well at, surprisingly, is book club books. I have actually read every book club book so far. I have pushed it to the wire every single time. I have read it the day of. I have finished it an hour before or even 15 minutes before book club, but I have done it for 4 months. Do you know how hard that is for me? I don't think I read 1 last year. I've read 4 in the last 4 months. I'm just so proud of myself. I really am. That was a challenge. There were some of those that were really difficult, really hard for me to push through, but I really loved it. One of them was Mistborn, which I thoroughly enjoyed rereading. So that was a reread and a book club book. But a couple were just really heavy content, and I was glad that I pushed through and actually finished them. In regards to the author jar, I have not yet made one. I think I've been pretty good about picking out classics on my shelves, but I have not been good about reading the classics that I've been picking out. So win, fail. I mean, I failed at the author jar, but the goal was to read more classics, but I picked them out, haven't read them. We're just gonna call it a fail, I guess. In terms of watching YouTube, I have not been watching that much YouTube. So in general, anything. So I've been watching some, but not much, and I still have not been commenting, which is unfortunate. I really wanted to do better at that. I started off well in January, and I needed to be reminded of that goal again. In terms of my audiobook goal, where I wanted to just listen to more audiobooks, I have done that, but not because of the reasons I thought I would. I had an accident with my car early January, like January 2nd. And since then I've been taking the bus, and it works really well in my town. Like, my city has a really good bus system compared to others. And I know people here will say, oh, it's not that great. It's not Vancouver, but it's not that bad. Okay. And I'm pretty direct from work to home, work to wherever I want to go. It's pretty direct. So I am just listening to Agatha Christie as I take the bus. That has changed because I paused on listening to Agatha Christie. But I have, I think, listened to like 6 books on audio so far this year, which is pretty good. And I'm pretty happy with that. Now, Timeless Tomes, that has not happened at all. So I need to reevaluate that goal, I think. I need to just sit in that goal and see what I can come up with, what that would look like for me. One of the things that I'm struggling with Timeless Tomes is, what do I read for that too? I'm struggling to find motivation to read certain kind of classics. So if you have any recommendations of books that you think I would really enjoy, or things that you would want my opinion on, please leave the recommendations in the comments. That would really help me out, at least as a starting point, to try and attempt something. And then I can, I don't know, see how that would impact my trajectory with this goal, because I do think I need a bit of direction. And I don't know how that looks, but I know I'm floundering essentially right now. So the next one was nonfiction, and I want to read 50% of my books this year as nonfiction. Now, I haven't done terribly at this. I've actually done pretty well, but I am trying to think of the fact that my reading is so different this year, where I am reading like 7 books a month as opposed to 15 or even 20. I am reading so much less than I usually do, that I was like, oh, I'll set my goal at like 100. I didn't say that, but that was kind of my mental goal of 100 nonfiction books. And that's at this point going to be all of my reading. I think I'm going to have, if I keep this trajectory going, I think I'll probably hit like 135 books. So I am very much off my normal goal. So my goal for this has changed a little. I want to read 60 nonfiction books this year. 60, I feel like, is a fair number. I feel like that is a reasonable number. It's still 50% or close to 50% of what my goal, or what my, I guess, estimated goal will be, or estimated amount will be. But at the same time, I think 60 is an achievable number that I can look at and say, oh, I'm 10 away, or I'm 15 away. So it's not going to be a never ending, oh, I read a fiction book, so I have to read another nonfiction book, like that kind of tug of war. So I think I'm going to now change my goal to 60, which is still a lot, still a massive amount, but I think that is much more achievable for this year for me. In regards to ARCs, I have not done well. I have read some, still have not posted reviews. I need to just sit down and write a bunch of reviews if my mental capacity can handle it, if I have enough spoons to do that on top of other life things. Aside from that, I didn't have, well, I think I might have had a numbers goal for my Goodreads and all that, and I haven't changed it. I think it's still at like 250 or something. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to change it or not. I'm just going to kind of let it go, I think, and just read what I want to read. And if it's off, it's off, whatever. But I do want to do one other thing that I hadn't thought of before. And basically on Storygraph, you can track how many days you've read in a row. So I actually have been reading, I've read every single day for this whole year. And I really want to do that for the whole year. And that is literally 15 minutes of reading on the bus, or like 5 minutes of listening to an audiobook. It's really not much. I have not accomplished many books, but I've been reading every day. And that, I think, is more important to me this year than having a lot accomplished. So if I can have read something every single day for this year, I think that it would make me just feel really accomplished. And then I can even just, challenge myself. Like before I go to bed, it's like, wait, did I read one chapter? And if I didn't, then what can I do? Like if I pick up a quick short story, I can get that done. And it's been really interesting because now I have this like routine of reading every day. And even though I read a lot on a normal year, I don't read every day. So when in years past, I have read like 7 books in a week, it's mostly on the weekends, like Friday to Saturday night. And those midday weeks, I don't pick up a book typically. So this year I've been really intentional, first of all, by busing. It's helpful by listening to an audiobook every day, but it's also been really great to just be like, make sure I've read like a little bit. And not so much worrying about the page count or the amount of books, but actually just making sure that I have read something. And it's been working out. So that's kind of one of my new goals that I want to put into this year. And my other goal is to not worry about the page count or about the amount of books. I'm gonna take it easy and we'll see what happens. I mean, I might go into a very different attitude come spring, but right now I'm kind of like enjoying my time. There are some books now that I'm prioritizing because of watching the show Quiet on the Set, which was about Nickelodeon and the dark side of children's TV. Crazy stuff, but now that's prioritizing some of those nonfiction books for me. And so that's kind of interesting. That's what I want. I want to have an experience, whether that be watching something on TV, spending time with someone, and being like, you know what, I want to do that more. I want to learn more about that. I want to invest that more. And just kind of let my reading go that way, however way it takes me. So that's kind of my goal. I don't know if that makes sense. My goals have been up and down. I've had some good ones and some bad ones, or success rates, I should say, some failures, some successes. But I feel like for the most part, I'm content with what I'm doing right now. I just need to maybe work a little harder in certain areas. But like I said, some of those goals have changed and some of them are doing just fine. Please let me know in the comments how your goals are going. Also, if you have any of those timeless tome books or any classics that you think I should read, or even modern day books that you might want a review video from, please let me know. I'd love some inspiration is what I'm going for. I would love some inspiration. Thank you so much in advance. I would also love it if you gave this video a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you are new here, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.
In a house that I don't know,